There is a silent thief in your life right now. It steals your energy every morning. It robs your dreams every night. It takes everything that could make you powerful. Yet you never see it coming. It hides inside your attention. It controls what you look at. It decides who you think about. And every time it steals from you, it smiles because you never noticed the damage. Today you will uncover that hidden force. Today you will open your eyes. Today you will take your power back. Part 1. The Spectator Trap. Nathan Parker used to wake up every morning with one habit. Before his feet touched the floor, he reached for his phone. There it was waiting for him. The endless list of other people's lives. A friend who bought a luxury car. A coworker who traveled to Hawaii. A cousin who started a business and already posted success photos. Scroll after scroll, Nathan felt something inside him shrink. He did not know what to name the feeling, but it tasted like failure and sounded like the question, why not me? On his way to work he thought about them. At lunch he talked about them. At night he compared himself to them. He laughed at their mistakes. He gossiped about their weaknesses. He judged their choices. And while he was busy observing them like characters in a show, his own life quietly faded into the background. Days passed. Weeks. Years. Nathan had become a spectator of his own destiny. One Saturday morning something shifted. Nathan sat on a park bench watching joggers pass by, fast and determined. He noticed a man who ran alone, not caring who looked at him. His face showed focus, not performance. Nathan felt a strange spark in his chest. It was not jealousy. It was curiosity. What did that man think about while running? What if he was thinking only about his own progress? What if he did not care about anyone else's timeline? Nathan heard a voice inside him whisper a question he had ignored for too long. When will you start running your own race? He remembered a quote he once read in a worn-out book by Napoleon Hill. The mind becomes what it thinks about the most. Nathan realized his mind was full of everyone else. Their success. Their opinions. Their drama. Their noise. It had no space left for his own dreams. That moment hit him harder than truth ever had before. The universe does not reward those who watch life happen. It rewards those who build life from within. Later that night, Nathan sat alone in his small apartment. No music. No distractions. Just silence. At first the silence felt uncomfortable, like a room filled with questions. But slowly it started to feel powerful. He realized attention is currency. And he had been spending all of his on people who did not even know he existed. Every thought about them drained him. Every comparison stole a piece of his confidence. Every judgment poisoned his mindset. He saw his own behavior clearly for the first time. He was leaking energy. Nathan stood up and looked in the mirror. The reflection staring back at him seemed tired of pretending. He asked himself a simple question. What would happen if I focused all this attention on me? The answer felt like electricity. Everything would change. He remembered another Hill principle. Silence is not weakness. It is strategy. Nathan understood that transformation begins when you stop talking about others and start talking to yourself. The world never taught him that. The world encouraged gossip. The world celebrated drama. The world rewarded loudness even when the noise had no purpose. But Nathan was ready to live differently. He pulled out a notebook that had been gathering dust. On the first page he wrote a promise. From today my focus belongs to me. He kept writing. My energy belongs to my goals. My growth matters more than their opinions. My life is my responsibility. When he finished writing, he took a deep breath and felt something rise inside him. It was confidence. Not the loud kind, but the kind built in silence. The next day he decided to test his promise. When someone at work started complaining about a coworker, Nathan stayed quiet. When his friends mocked someone on social media, Nathan did not join. Instead, he saved that attention for something new. For himself. With every quiet choice, he felt stronger. He noticed he had more energy. His mind felt lighter. He did not know it yet, but he was beginning a powerful transformation. Nathan learned something important. Being silent about others gives you more time to speak to the person who truly matters. Yourself. Your internal dialogue shapes your success more than approval ever will. When Nathan focused inward, he discovered ideas he did not know he had. He set a few small goals. He made a plan. He started acting without telling anyone. This new version of him felt private, personal, sacred. Growth without an audience. Progress without applause. He did not announce anything because he was busy building everything. Some people noticed his silence and tried to pull him back into their drama. They teased him for being different. They wanted him to gossip again. But Nathan smiled because he knew something they did not. A mind set on purpose becomes unstoppable. Every night Nathan asked himself a question. What did I build today? Sometimes the answer was small. Sometimes it was big. But every answer made him proud. Slowly he stopped caring about how fast others moved. He cared only about his own steps. His own journey. His own race. And step by step he felt himself becoming someone new. Someone powerful. Someone growing like a tree in a quiet mountain no audience needed. The transformation had begun. For the first time Nathan did not want to watch life anymore. He wanted to live it. Fully. Boldly. Unapologetically. And deep inside he believed something he never believed before. I choose myself. This was the end of his old life. And the beginning of his unstoppable one. There comes a moment in every transformation where the world stops clapping. When no one notices the change you are making. When you feel invisible. That is the moment most people quit. But the ones who rise understand a secret truth. Silence is not the end of attention. It is the beginning of greatness. Part 2. Power and Silence. Nathan Parker began practicing silence. Not the kind that comes from fear or insecurity. But the kind that comes from focus. From intention. From a decision to protect his energy like people protect their money. He was learning something extraordinary about life. When you stop speaking about your goals begin speaking to you. One Monday morning at work, his coworkers gathered around the break room table complaining about the boss. Nathan stood with them, but he did not join the noise. He listened. He observed. He saved his energy. Inside his mind he repeated a message he once read from Napoleon Hill. The person who talks too much achieves too little. That day he realized something important. He had spent years burning his energy on arguments and gossip that left him tired but unchanged. Silence became his new strategy. During lunch he sat outside. Instead of scrolling through other people's victories, he closed his eyes. He breathed. He asked himself a bold question. What if all the strength I ever needed has always been inside me but trapped under words that never mattered? That thought made him feel powerful. Every time he stayed quiet, he noticed something amazing. He had more energy to think. More energy to plan. More energy to build the life he wanted. Silence was becoming his bank. And every unspoken word was a deposit. He felt richer each day. Nathan stopped explaining his dreams to people who did not believe in themselves. He stopped defending his choices to people who never built anything worth defending. He stopped reacting to every opinion thrown his way. And slowly the opinions stopped coming. When you no longer feed negativity with attention, it starves and leaves. One evening his friend Marcus asked why he was so quiet lately. Nathan smiled. He wanted to explain everything. He wanted to talk about focus and energy and destiny. But he did not. He simply said, I am working on myself. Marcus did not understand. But understanding was not required for Nathan's success. He learned that not everyone deserves access to your transformation. Some seasons of life are meant to be private. Nathan paid attention to his energy like a scientist. He noticed where it went. He noticed what drained it. He noticed what increased it. Drama drained him. Complaining drained him. Proving himself to others drained him. But silence. Silence made him strong. One afternoon he sat in a cafe reading. A group near him argued loudly about politics. They were red in the face. Their voices shook with anger. Nathan watched them like he was watching a movie he had already seen. No one was learning. No one was changing. No one was growing. They were pouring their energy into a fire that would burn out in minutes and leave nothing but ashes. Nathan quietly wrote a note in his journal. Choose battles that build me. He realized not every fight deserves a warrior. Some battles only exist to waste your power. He was becoming smarter with his effort. More disciplined with his reactions. More aware of what mattered. And what did not. Silence became his personal shield. When someone criticized him, he did not rush to justify himself. When someone doubted him, he did not try to prove them wrong. He learned that real proof is not spoken. It is lived. Every time he allowed someone's judgment to pass without a reaction, he felt like he gained another inch of control over his life. Nathan started waking up earlier. During those quiet mornings, the world felt like a blank page. He felt a new strength rising inside him. The strength that comes when a man finally becomes loyal to his own purpose. He wrote ideas. He set goals. He made plans. No one else needed to know. His silence protected his dreams like a vault protects gold, and something interesting began to happen. People looked at him differently. They sensed a shift, though they could not describe it. Nathan walked with calm confidence. He no longer chased attention, and people began to offer it freely. That is the strange beauty of growth. When you stop needing validation, the world becomes curious about you. His boss noticed the difference. You seem more focused lately. What changed? Nathan answered with the truth. I stopped wasting energy on things that do not move me forward. The boss nodded with approval. Nathan's silence had turned into influence. Influence built not on being loud but on being valuable. In the evenings, Nathan would sit by his window and think about the person he used to be. The man who needed to be heard in every conversation. The man who needed approval like food. He thanked that old version of himself for surviving. Then he thanked the new version for evolving. He remembered another lesson from Napoleon Hill. Control over self is the beginning of control over life. That line felt like a key. And Nathan was finally unlocking a door he did not even know existed. Yes, the world still tried to pull him back. People still wanted him to join their noise. To argue. To react. To lose control. But every time he chose silence, he tightened his grip on his own power. That choice made him feel unstoppable. Nathan understood something most people ignore. Silence is not empty. Silence is full. Full of energy. Full of clarity. Full of potential. Silence is the place where ideas are born. Where confidence is grown. Where success begins long before anyone sees it. He realized the strongest voices in history were not the ones who spoke the most. They were the ones who spoke with purpose. And you cannot speak with purpose until you have first mastered the quiet within yourself. So Nathan kept building in silence, while others talked in noise. He had discovered the secret that would change everything. Protect your energy. And your energy will protect your dreams. This was no longer about being quiet. It was about becoming powerful, and he had only just begun. If you are ready, I will write part 3 next. There is a moment in every transformation when life stops letting you hide. When the world goes quiet and the only voice left is your own. In that silence you finally hear the truth. And the truth is the beginning of change. Part 3. The focus that changes everything. Nathan Parker woke up early before the sun again. The room was still dark. The city was still quiet. It felt like the universe was holding its breath, waiting for him to make a choice. He sat at the edge of his bed for a long moment, and reminded himself why he was doing this. Focus is the foundation of success. And success begins the moment you stop talking about it and start being it. He placed his hand over his chest and felt his heartbeat. It felt steady, strong, present. This heartbeat meant he still had a chance. Still had potential. Still had a purpose. That thought alone filled him with quiet confidence. At the kitchen table he opened his notebook. A blank page stared back at him. For years that empty space had scared him. Now it excited him. It meant possibility. It meant creation. It meant he was ready to build himself instead of talking about building himself. He wrote only one line. Focus is my power. Then he closed the notebook and took a deep breath. Today he was going to protect that focus like treasure. During the drive to work he listened to a mentor he had discovered. Napoleon Hill once said that the mind is a broadcasting station. Whatever you think about most is what your life will become. Nathan repeated that idea in his mind like a song. Broadcasting. Frequency. Direction. Those words meant everything now. At the office he noticed how easily people gave away their focus. They complained about everything. They gossiped about everyone. They judged without thinking. It was like their energy was leaking through every careless thought and wasted word. He realized something important. Every moment you spend thinking about others is a moment stolen from your own future. He made a silent promise to himself. I will no longer be the kind of man who steals from his own destiny. At lunch, he sat alone under a tree outside. Not lonely. Focused. He watched his coworkers argue about sports and politics. He watched them scroll through other people's success stories. He watched them lose themselves in everyone else's life except their own. Nathan smiled because he finally understood a powerful truth. When you focus on others, you tell the universe that what they have is more important than what you can create. But when you focus on yourself, you tell the universe you are ready to build something worthy. This focus did something surprising inside him. It made him see the invisible. He began to notice opportunities he never saw before. He began to notice his own strengths, his own ideas, his own growing confidence. That afternoon, his boss gave him a task that required creativity. Normally, he would doubt himself. Normally, he would ask others for advice. But not today. Today, he trusted the power of his own attention. He worked quietly. He worked with clarity. He worked with purpose. The result impressed even him. His boss nodded with approval again. Another step forward. Driving home, he felt proud. Not loud pride. Quiet pride. The kind that grows roots inside your spirit. He turned off the radio and let silence fill the car. It felt like a friend now. Not an enemy. At home, he looked around his apartment. There were books he never read. Dreams he never chased. Promises he never kept to himself. Seeing them made his chest tighten. For a moment, he felt the weight of his old life pulling him back. He stood in the middle of the room staring at those books. Years of buying motivation but not living it. Years of collecting answers but never applying them. Years of telling himself he would change tomorrow. Always tomorrow. Nathan took one of the books and opened it to a random page. The words hit him with truth. You become what you focus on. He closed the book and sat down. He realized that most of his attention had been stuck on the wrong targets. Problems instead of solutions. Others instead of himself. Excuses instead of action. He whispered to himself. No more running. It was time to face the mirror. He walked to the bathroom and looked at his reflection. Really looked. Without filters. Without defense. Without pretending. He saw a man who had dreams bigger than his habits. A man who had been asleep while his potential waited. A man who was finally waking up. It hurt. But it was the kind of pain that heals. The kind that tells you there is something better ahead. The kind that proves you still care about the life you are living. Nathan spoke quietly to the man in the mirror. You are not behind. You are beginning. Those words softened the weight on his shoulders. He knew the past could not be changed, but the future still belonged to him. That night he made a new rule for his life. His focus would follow his future. Not his fears. Not his past. Not other people. Only his future. He turned off his phone. He turned off the noise. He turned his energy inward where creation happens. For the first time in his life he felt truly aligned with his own purpose. Before sleeping he wrote another line in his notebook. What I focus on will grow. When he closed the notebook he felt something powerful inside him shift. He felt like a man who had finally taken control of his own ship. Success was no longer a wish. It was a decision. He whispered into the dark room. I am focused now. And nothing can stop a mind that knows where it is going. Silence answered. And in that silence his destiny began to move. Nathan laid down with a peaceful smile because he finally understood. Focus is not magic. Focus is direction. And direction creates results. Tomorrow would come. And when it did, he would rise again. Focused. Determined. Becoming. This was only the beginning. Part 4. Guarding your energy like treasure. Nathan Parker woke up before his alarm. It felt different now. He did not drag himself out of bed. He rose with intention. He had learned something powerful. Success is not built in noise. Success is built in the quiet hours when most people are sleeping or scrolling or complaining about their lives. He sat up and whispered to himself. Today I protect my energy. The morning air was calm as he stepped outside for a short walk. The sun had not appeared yet. The streetlights glowed softly. The world felt slow and peaceful. Nathan placed his hand over his heart again. That simple heartbeat reminded him that he was alive for a reason. That reason needed his full energy. Napoleon Hill once wrote that the most successful people do not give their attention to every distraction. They control their inner world. They choose where their energy goes. Nathan repeated that idea as he walked. Control your focus. Control your future. When he returned home, he made a cup of coffee and sat with his notebook. He wrote a simple affirmation. My energy is my power. Then he closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He imagined his energy as a bright light inside him. Every time he gossiped or complained or argued, that light dimmed. But every time he stayed calm. Every time he stayed focused. Every time he stayed committed. That light grew stronger. He realized that life does not take energy from you. You give it away. And most people give it away too easily. By the time he arrived at work, he felt grounded and clear. His co-workers were already loud. Talking about problems. Talking about co-workers. Talking about things that did not matter. The noise was distracting. The negativity was exhausting. But Nathan remembered something important. Noise is only powerful if you listen to it. He smiled politely and walked to his desk without joining the drama. Silence was his armor now. His boss gave him a new assignment. A difficult one. One that required focus, creativity, and patience. The old Nathan would have asked a dozen questions out of fear. But this new Nathan took the challenge with confidence. He told himself that preparation and silence would lead him forward. He turned off his phone. He closed unnecessary tabs. He wrote the task clearly on a sheet of paper and took a deep breath. Then he went to work with full attention. Minutes turned into hours. He was fully present. He felt like his mind was sharp and powerful. His boss walked by and noticed. He did not say anything. But Nathan saw the respect in his eyes. Respect that is earned, not asked for. During lunch, a coworker came to him with juicy gossip. She sat down excitedly and leaned in as if about to reveal a secret worth millions. But Nathan did not lean in. He pushed his chair back slightly. With a friendly smile, he said, I think I am going to stay focused on my project. Maybe another time. She looked surprised. Then a little offended. People who feed on attention often feel threatened when you remove the food. She left annoyed. But Nathan did not feel guilty. He felt strong. He was learning something most people never learn. Power grows when it is not wasted. Later that afternoon, his phone lit up with messages from old friends inviting him to hang out. They wanted to waste the evening on meaningless talk. Nathan stared at the screen for a while. These were people he cared about. But they were also people who had no goals of their own. They wanted company in their comfort. They wanted distraction in their disappointment. Nathan took another deep breath. His future was more important than their approval. He put the phone face down. Every moment you say no to distraction, you say yes to your destiny. That evening he returned home tired but proud. His energy was not scattered. It was used. It was invested. It was building something. Inside him and around him. He made a simple dinner and sat quietly at the table. The silence felt powerful again. He realized that he used to fear silence because it forced him to face himself. Now he welcomed silence because it helped him build himself. When he finished eating, he went to his bookshelf and chose another personal development book that he had bought long ago. He underlined a sentence that spoke to him. The man who masters his energy masters his world. Nathan sat back and smiled because he finally believed that. His phone buzzed again. Social media notifications. Comments. Likes. More noise. More distractions. More energy thieves. He turned the phone off completely. Life is too short to waste energy pretending to be someone online. He wanted to become someone in real life. He stood in the living room and stretched his arms above his head. The windows showed a sky full of stars. He whispered, I am becoming stronger every day. He felt that truth sinking deeper into his heart. Before bed he returned to the mirror. He looked into his own eyes. They looked different now. Brighter. Softer. More certain. He saw a man who was learning the most important skill of success. Self-control. Nathan placed his hand on the mirror as if shaking hands with his future self. he said quietly. I respect my energy now. And everything that does not support my growth no longer gets a place in my life. He turned off the lights. The room vanished into darkness. But his spirit did not. Inside him a quiet fire burned. A fire fed by discipline. A fire protected by silence. A fire that would not go out. As he laid down, he remembered something Napoleon Hill wrote. Do not waste your energy on small things. Use it for something great. Nathan smiled as sleep approached. Because now he was doing exactly that. His last thought before sleep was strong and clear. I guard my energy like treasure. And soon the world will see the power of that treasure. Tomorrow he would rise again. Focused. Powerful. Ready. Because this was not a phase. This was the birth of a new man. Part 5. The test of distraction. Life will always test you the moment you choose a new path. Not to punish you but to prove you are serious. Every dream attracts a challenge. Every new level demands a stronger version of you. And the only way to rise is to protect your focus when the world tries to break it. Nathan Parker woke up before sunrise again. His alarm did not drag him out of bed anymore. He rose with a purpose. The morning air felt fresh and full of promise. He made his coffee and reviewed his goals for the day. 3 important tasks. 3 steps toward a better future. He felt ready, but the universe was also ready. Ready to test him. As he walked into work that morning, his manager called him into the office. She said, Nathan, I know you are focused, but we have a situation. A sudden deadline. A major client demanding changes. A project behind schedule. We need you to take the lead. Nathan felt excitement and pressure hit him at the same time. This was his opportunity. This was a test. He said, I will handle it. But the responsibility came with distractions. Emails every minute. Phone calls nonstop. People asking questions. People complaining. People panicking. It was like the whole building was filled with noise again. Nathan remembered Napoleon Hill's teaching. In every crisis there is an opportunity for a leader to rise. Leaders are not chosen by titles. Leaders are chosen by their focus under pressure. So Nathan took a breath and centered himself. He made a plan. He divided the work into clear steps. He gathered the team and spoke with calm direction. His voice carried confidence. And confidence spreads faster than fear. Soon the team was working with renewed energy. But then something unexpected happened. Nathan received a message from his old friend Ben. They had not spoken in months. Ben wrote, Bro, I heard you got some big project going. You better not forget where you came from. Come out tonight. We are all meeting up. Celebrate a bit. Nathan smiled for a moment. He missed the old days. Nights of pizza and loud conversations. No pressure. No goals. Just comfort. A tiny part of him wanted that break. That escape. That easy relief. But another part of him asked a powerful question. Will this move me closer to my dream or farther from it? He typed back, I appreciate the invite, but I cannot tonight. I am working on something important. Ben replied, Come on, man. You are always busy now. You changed. Nathan paused. Those words stung a little. But then he realized something. When you grow, the people who stay in one place think you are leaving them behind. They do not see that you are leaving behind the old version of yourself. He put his phone away. He chose his future again. The day continued to challenge him. More problems appeared. More delays. More voices telling him it might not work. His mind felt tired, but his purpose kept him moving. Every choice mattered today. Every second counted. Around noon he noticed Kevin again. Laughing. Scrolling. Wasting time. Kevin waved at him and said, You look stressed. Just take a break and join us. No harm in relaxing for a while. Nathan looked at Kevin's phone. The screen full of meaningless gossip. News about celebrities. Rumors about coworkers. Energy traps everywhere. The kind of distractions Nathan once lived inside without even noticing. He replied, I will take a break after the work is done. Kevin shrugged and said, Suit yourself. He did not understand. Most people do not. Because most people think success happens after you feel comfortable. Nathan kept working until the report was perfect. He sent the updated version to the client. Then he waited. Every minute felt heavy. This outcome mattered. It could shape his future career. He stepped outside for fresh air. The sunlight felt warm. The sky looked peaceful. He closed his eyes and focused on gratitude. Goals require fuel. Gratitude is fuel. A grateful mind sees possibilities. A stressed mind sees problems. Nathan whispered to himself, I am capable. I am rising. I am earning my future. He felt stronger. When he returned inside, his manager met him with a smile. She said, the client loves your plan. They said your clarity made everything easier. They want you to handle more projects like this in the future. Nathan felt pride rush through him. This was not luck. It was earned. It was proof that his new focus was working. His manager continued, there is something else. We are considering you for a leadership training program. Keep this momentum, leadership. That word felt powerful. Nathan was no longer just completing tasks. He was shaping results. On his way home that evening, he stopped at a bookstore. His eyes landed on a book titled Think and Grow Rich. He picked it up and opened a random page. There was a line that felt like it jumped out at him. Success requires a single chief aim. A purpose so strong that no distraction can steal your mind from it. Nathan smiled. It felt like the book was speaking directly to him. He bought it. He was ready to learn more, grow more, build more. When he reached home, he placed his phone on the table. It continued to buzz. More messages. More invitations. More attempts to pull him back into the life he was leaving behind. He let it buzz. The world could wait. His future could not. Nathan sat down and read for an hour. Then he wrote in his journal, Today I passed the test. Not because everything went right, but because I refused to quit when everything tried to pull me away from my goal. His handwriting was bold and steady. As he prepared for bed, he felt fear whisper inside him. What if he failed tomorrow? What if this pressure was too much? What if he was not enough? Nathan did something he rarely did before. He talked back to his fear. He said out loud, I will not allow fear to choose for me. My future belongs to my focus. The room felt quiet again. But not empty. Powerful. Nathan lay down with a peaceful smile. Tomorrow would bring more challenges. More distractions. More tests. And he would welcome each one. He was no longer the man who avoided pressure. He was the man who performed inside it. Because pressure does not break a man with purpose. It builds him. If you want, I am ready to continue with White Heavy Checkmark Part 6. The Final Transformation. Part 6. The Power Within. Engaging hook. The world will watch you when you win. But the world will test you when you decide to change. Most people quit during the test. Champions rise through it. Because success does not come to the loudest. It comes to the most focused. The ones who keep moving when everyone else is waiting for proof. The next morning, Nathan Parker woke up with a new kind of fire in his chest. It was not excitement. It was certainty. He now believed without a doubt that he could build a life much greater than the one he had been living. He slipped on his running shoes and went outside before sunrise. The streets were quiet. The world was still asleep. But Nathan was awake in his soul. Every step he took reminded him that he was becoming someone new. He reached the park and sat on the bench where he once questioned why his life felt stuck. That moment felt like a lifetime ago. Back then he was lost in noise. Lost in distractions. Lost in the opinions of others. Now his mind was clear. His purpose was sharp. Nathan remembered the day he decided to focus on himself. It was not easy. He lost some friends along the way. Some people got angry. Some mocked his change. Some said he was acting too serious. But Nathan realized something powerful. If people get upset when you choose growth, it is because they preferred the old version of you. The version that needed their approval. Nathan no longer needed approval. He needed progress. At work, his leader pulled him aside. Nathan, we have been watching you. Not just your results, but your attitude, your focus, your leadership. We want to offer you a new position. More responsibility. Better pay. A real path upward. Nathan felt a rush of gratitude. Not just for the opportunity, but for the sacrifices that led him here. The early mornings. The silent nights. The choices no one saw. He accepted the new role with gratitude. Not pride. He knew this was only the beginning. As he walked back to his desk, Kevin stopped him. Nathan, is it true? Are you getting promoted? Nathan nodded with a small smile. Kevin forced a laugh and said, "You are lucky, man. Things always seem to work out for you." Nathan shook his head. "This is not luck. This is focus. This is discipline. This is the result of believing in myself when no one else did." Kevin looked down. He did not have a reply. Nathan realized in that moment that some people want success without changing. They want growth without growing. Nathan was ready to keep changing. On Friday, the company held a meeting. Nathan stood in front of the team explaining strategies for the next project. His voice was steady. His presence was strong. People listened not because he demanded attention but because he no longer needed it. That is true power. Later that night, Nathan visited his father. The same man who once encouraged him to start fresh in this city. They sat on the porch under a sky full of stars. His father asked, "So how is life treating you, son?" Nathan smiled. "Better than ever, Dad. And not because life changed. Because I changed." His father nodded with pride. Then he told Nathan something that would stay with him forever. The moment you decided to silence the world and listen to yourself, you stepped into greatness. Most people wait for permission to grow. You gave yourself permission. Nathan felt tears push against his eyes. But they were not tears of sadness. They were tears of victory. As the night grew darker, Nathan thought about the future. He had goals bigger than promotions. He wanted to build something meaningful. He wanted to lead others to discover their potential. He wanted to live a life on purpose every single day. He remembered a quote from Napoleon Hill that had changed everything. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Nathan had read those words many times. But now he was living them. He looked back on all the lessons along his journey. Focus is the foundation of success. Distraction kills dreams. Silence builds power. Gossip destroys energy. Growth begins with honesty. And the greatest transformation happens inside long before the world sees it outside. Nathan learned that success is not what you achieve. It is who you become. And he had become someone he was proud of. He went to bed that night and wrote his final reflection in his journal. It said, "If you want to change your life, focus on yourself. Build in silence. Protect your energy. Believe in your vision. And never allow noise to steal your destiny." He closed the journal slowly with a confident smile. Tomorrow would be another day to build. Another day to grow. Another day to rise. Because success is not a moment. Success is a lifestyle. Nathan finally understood the truth. The moment you focus on yourself, everything changes. Not because others stop talking, but because their voices no longer matter. His life was no longer controlled by distraction. His life was now guided by purpose. He had become a leader of his own destiny. Nathan turned off the light and whispered to himself one last thought. This is just the beginning. And with that he fell asleep. Not tired. Not worried. But ready. Ready for the life he was creating. Ready for the power inside him. Ready for the future that was already on its way. White heavy checkmark. Call to action. If this story inspired you to focus on your own journey, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a new chapter. Share this story with someone who needs motivation. Leave your thoughts in the comments below and tell us what part of Nathan's transformation spoke to you most.